welcome back. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to episode 15. Or are you on 16? 16?
16.
16.
Episode 16. We've been out here for 16 weeks and we're still making it. Episode 16 of Black Friday. The opinions are not for sale. Thank you again for tuning in. It's been another, I don't want to say it's been a slow week. It's been busy. Every week's busy. There's always a lot of stuff going on, but I think it was more manageable than previous weeks that we've had. Just another week into the majestic Biden economy, as we want to call it. But, no, we're making it happen, man. Sheesh. So one of the first things I noticed this week now is that major states like Michigan, California, and others have announced that they were opening up come February, and now those states are open up for dining and for business and gyms and everything else, despite their COVID numbers being higher than when they locked them down before Christmas time. Now, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, I'm not a scientist, but it kind of does seem like a political move here. If I do say so myself, but the numbers don't add up. You lock it down when the numbers are lower, but you open when they're higher. There's a transition of power with administrations, and now, oh wow, we got to open up. We've got to open up. So I don't know how we got there, but that's where we're at now.
Coming from a state like Michigan, it definitely does seem politicized, especially when Democrats and people on the left were the exact same ones saying that when the Republicans wanted students to go back to school, and then they were like, well, COVID numbers are higher now than when we, shut down. How could you let them go back to school? Well, now how can we go back to dining? How can we go back to the gym or getting our hair cut or doing anything anymore because COVID numbers are higher than when we shut down? It's hypocrisy. It's just, I don't understand. People who wear the mask, like, I wear my mask. I try and play it safe. I try to take care of myself and my family. But now people who just take that religiously and say, well, we must protect. I'm kind of over COVID at this point. I'm like, it could not have been that serious because they don't care anymore. Joe Biden won the White House. They must reopen the economy. If either they don't care if you die or they were lying from the beginning, either or.
Yeah, guys. It's really bad because we're playing politics with people's lives at this point. When you think about it, people wanted to stay closed because Orange Man bad, like we've been saying. Mr. Trump wanted to keep everything open. The president wanted to make sure we protect people while here's the thing. The president wanted you to social distance. President wanted to encourage you to wear your mask. He didn't want to mandate you because the government shouldn't be mandating you to do anything. But at the same time, the government shouldn't the government shouldn't be playing politics now that Trump is out of office and Joe Biden is in. It's gross misconduct to me. Honestly, we should be locking people up for it. I honestly think because I think it goes under conspiracy to overthrow the U.S. government. At the time, Trump was the government, and I think it was conspiracy, even though it's almost legal conspiracy because it was an election year. It's conspiracy. And we know why Gavin Newsom is doing it, because he's about to get recalled in California.
Yes, he is. They've reached the threshold of 1,300,000 signatures. All they need is 197,000 more, and they will officially have had enough petitions to start the recall, which is very fantastic. And just as you had mentioned before, yes, we're going to be getting into the whole conspiracy behind the election and everything that came into play there. Time Magazine, what a bombshell there. We're going to get into that in a second. But like you also said, and Chris said, I think somebody is lying here. And I do think somebody needs to go to jail for this. Some people do need to go to jail for this. They put everyday Americans' lives and livelihoods in the balance. People have committed suicide. People have lost everything. People have lost family members. People have died in a worse state of mental health than we've ever seen before. for the fact of we didn't like who was in office, and if we open up, then we're going to prove that he was right the whole time and that we could do this and open up and it wasn't that bad. But now that we have a new administration, we should probably do that right now because, we have to open up now or else we're going to lose everything. Or if you look into Europe right now where they're having massive anti-lockdown protests, people are literally rising up against the governments and the police out there. That could very well happen here. I'm not saying it should or by any means don't block me, Zuck, don't Zuck me out here. But you keep knocking on the devil's door, one day somebody's going to answer. It's plain and simple. I don't know what people are going to expect to happen here. Yeah.
You're right. And like I said before, I think it's sedition. I think it's conspiracy to overthrow the government. And the worst people is your governor, Chris, Gretchen Whitmer, and Lori Lightfoot, the mayor of Chicago, who is now blaming Donald Trump for her school problems. Okay, Chicago schools have had problems for years. Chicago has had problems for years because of the dailies and the Democratic machine being run there since, the 50s and the 60s. But to blame your entire public school system, which is unionized, the teachers are unionized there, and you can't get rid of bad teachers with unions, but you're going to blame that school system on a man who's only been in politics literally for 4 years. 4.5 to 5 if you count the campaigns. But 5 years? This man has been in office for 5 years, and Betsy DeVos has not really put in a lot of education initiatives, new initiatives to change education. But you're going to blame this man on it? Please, they can miss me with that mess. That's all I can say.
We need to fund education. We need to fund education. How many times have we heard that one? We keep cutting education funding when that's one of the biggest lies I've ever heard in my life. We all know we fund education very, very well. We just know that people steal that money and fund it with other crap that doesn't go to the kids.
There you go.
Exactly. Who's the one who's paying for the campaigns for the people who's advocating for raising the cost of education or raising taxation for education? It's the unions, teacher unions. They're the ones who's lining the pockets of these politicians so they can go to Washington and say, we need more funding for education, when all we do is throw money at this issue. It has nothing to do with the money. We spend enough money on education. It has to do with so many things, one being the unions, where you can't get rid of bad teachers, like Omar said. It's ridiculous. And the fact that Mayor Lori Lightfoot wants to blame it on Donald Trump, someone who had nothing to do with the awful, abysmal state of her city, then that's, and I'm coming from Detroit. I can, look, I'd rather live in Detroit than Chicago. I mean, I'm not. People think that Detroit's dangerous and bad. It's not the best city, but Chicago, I'm not living in Chirac. I'm good. I'll stay on Detroit. I'll stay on 8 Mile. That's fine. So Mayor Lori Lightfoot is huffing paint, and then you have Gretchen Whitmer. My governor is just completely awful. Somebody actually, I'm not sure if you guys saw this. He an African immigrant just declared that he's going to be running as a Republican against her. His name is Austin Chenge, Achenge, maybe. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. And he's running against her. He's an African immigrant, went to school in the UK. He seems like a decent candidate. We'll see what comes of that.
To be honest, I thought it would be John James. But John James is doing something which I've been around campaigns for a long time. And you showed people who you are if you stick to your office. So if he's sticking to the office of senator and he's going to wait it out until the Senate seat's open, more power to John James.
I doubt it. I don't think John James is ever going to run again.
I like the guy. I really liked his campaign. I wish I could have helped out if I was available to, but you lose 2 in a row. It's just it's
hard to come back.
No, it's hard to come back.
But you're still popular. It still means you're popular.
You're not a winner. Yes. You're not a winner.
See, but you're popular amongst the common people. But the common people aren't the ones giving you millions of dollars. That's the rich and if you came up to somebody and said, invest in my business, and they said, well, your business failed twice, they're not going to keep investing. They're not going to keep investing in John James. if he keeps losing. And as much as I loved John James, I just don't see him. I just don't see him running again. We need a fresh new face.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you
John
this.
James and Kimberly Klasick. Like Kimberly Klasick got blown out the water twice by Kawise Mfume out in Baltimore.
Well,
she keeps talking like she's going to run and go big. I mean, it's just.
But Christian,
it's tough to sell that as an investment. Who wants to invest in that?
Who are you going to find that? Who are you going to find that's better to run for that seat? Who are you going to find better? And also, I'll tell you this. For years, there has been this man. His son is in office now because obviously this guy's dead. But the former mayor of Jackson, I forgot his first name, but his last name is Lumumba. He has been running for that office for years, kept getting denied. He finally wins it. Now, yes, of course, ironically, he dies in his first term. But at the same time, the man never gave up. There have been instances where people run for stuff for years and eventually they crack open and win. That's just one instance.
I mean, smaller offices, it's easier because, funding is a little bit lighter. But running for, like John James, for instance, Senate, that's an expensive, race to run, and to run it, consistently. I mean, he ran against Stabenow. He lost by 300,000 votes, I believe. And then to Gary Peters, I believe he lost by 150,000 votes.
Closer.
I mean, he's getting closer, but I don't think that I don't think he's going to make it to running again. I'm not sure who will. We really don't have a ton of wonderful Republicans in Michigan. A lot of moderates, a lot of people on the flippity flop, but we don't have a ton of good, strong Republicans.
I'm telling you, you run your best one, and right now he's your best one. But I will say this: it's harder to win a Senate seat for Republicans. It's harder to win a Senate seat in Michigan than it is to win the governor's mansion. The governor's mansion is doable. I don't think the Senate is, at least right now.
Well, let's fingers crossed for Chenge. Maybe he'll win it. We'll see.
You never know.
Well, we'll have to see. It's just tough to see when people lose continuously. Then you kind of put more hope in them. It's the investment has to pay off at some point, or else people won't see a reason to keep.
Look at Joe Biden. He lost and he lost and he lost and he lost and he lost, and now he finally won.
What do you mean? He's been in Congress and in political power for 40 years.
He ran for president 3 or 4 times. This was like his 4th or 5th time running.
Well, he got established credit and everything else. John James doesn't have that. He hasn't served.
Yeah, he has it now. He's ran twice. People know.
But he hasn't won. Like Joe Biden was in some sort of political capacity before, the presidential runs and everything else. John James doesn't have that.
Yep. I mean, he has the name recognition. Honestly, like I get exactly where Omar's coming from. If I was John James, I might continue. But that's hard. It's hard. It's hard for a family man like him as well. I mean, he has 3 young children. I believe his youngest is like 3 years old. He ran twice. His the first race, his youngest must have been like a year old. I'm sure he doesn't want to continue on that track. I mean, now he has a little bit of break before the next Senate race in Michigan, but
Well, here's what we can agree on. The only one who can make that decision right now is John James.
Yeah, 100%. We'll see who ends up running in Michigan. But honestly, if I'm a betting man, Gretchen Whitmer has the mansion again. I'm gonna say that she's most likely gonna take it again.
It's a tough one. That is to swallow. Honestly, if that were to be
yeah. For some reason, the black community for some reason just loves Gretchen Whitmer in Michigan. For some reason, I don't know. They call her Big Gretch. I don't know.
She's a woman. That's why.
Maybe.
Yikes! I don't know if that's what we're anymore. We don't even know what a woman is anymore now by all these gender terms and specifics and everything. We don't even know what constitutes being a woman. They love women. Okay. Student loan debt. Omar, what you got for us here?
Okay, there has been a press conference with the now majority leader. Oh my God. Chuck Schumer, Ayanna Pressley, who is a United States representative from the state of Massachusetts, and Elizabeth Warren, who is also from Massachusetts, United States senator. Loves to take on the big banks or whatever she calls it. Apparently, they are calling for Joe Biden to unilaterally use his executive order power to cancel up to $50,000 of student debt for every American student, which adds up to maybe $1.7 trillion of debt. Now, I will say this. It is under the federal government's power to cancel student debt, but it has to be done by an act of Congress. Joe Biden has been saying, hey, it has to be done through Congress, and I'm only going up to $10,000. Now, of course, I'm under the assumption, hey, you take out your loan, you need to pay your debts off. Let's find a way to make that easier by cutting interest rates and making sure we strengthen those programs that if you go into a certain service, like or a profession like teaching, and you make your payments on time in 10 years, let's make sure we're getting those folks that reliably have done their part to do student loan debt forgiveness. Let's strengthen those programs, but not unilaterally canceling up to $10,000 or even $50,000 of student debt. What do you guys think on that?
I'm not sure about you guys. Never mind. Gone. I'm not sure about you guys, but I don't have any student debt. I was able to go to school without taking out a single loan. Going through with scholarships and stuff, it paid for everything, and I also took college classes in high school. So for me, it's kind of like a slap in the face for all the hard work I did. I worked full time the entire time at a restaurant during college to pay for everything I need for college. So when people say like, oh no, I owe $200,000 or I owe a ton of money. Well, what's your excuse? I was able to do it. I know so many other people who are able to do it. I'm not saying get off with a $0 like debt, but make it manageable and go for something that you'll be able to pay off. I know people who are going to, prestigious schools, 100,000 plus in debt, and they're going for majors like, history or, It's not as bad, but it's not. You're not gonna make. You're not gonna make. Yeah, you're not gonna make a lot of money. You're not making enough to pay that off, and that's the thing. So it's very unfortunate, and I feel bad for people. But then again, I don't. I'm not a very empathetic person sometimes. If you decided to take out that loan and you decided to become a history teacher, then that's on you, and you can deal with those loans because it's not on anybody else. But I think we do have to point out that the government is a predatory loan service. Basically, they target students and they try to give them loans. Before we had federal student loans, I believe the payment rate on private loans was I think it was 98%, or it was very high that most people paid off their loans privately with private companies. But then you have the federal government coming in and offering these loans to every single student, everybody, basically because private loans were selective. Not anyone could just get a loan. Whereas the government is going to give it to anyone and everyone. And obviously, we talked about this before. When you just give out loans or mortgages or whatever to anybody, it does not work out well.
What do you think, Christian?
I got loans to pay. I got bills to pay. Every month. Something that I signed up for. I know what I got to do. It's not in the president's power to do so. To act like it is a genuine disservice. Would I like it? Sure, absolutely, it would be great. Also, there's other people that took other measures why they didn't have to pay loans. There's also when you do this, it doesn't solve the problem, which is colleges charging absurd rates of tuition when they know the government is going to pay off people's debt and their tuition. There's no incentive for them to lower the price of the college, and it's just going to keep reoccurring. It's not going to stop. So if you want to really address this issue, I recommend you go straight to the source. You go to the colleges and get them to drop the price. And I'm not sure exactly how in regards to doing it, but it's not by canceling student loan debt right off the bat. It's the same thing if you apply that to medical insurance. It's the same way. How are you going to, if you insure everybody, it's totally free from the government, what's going to make insurance companies, make hospitals charge less money? They're not going to. They're not going to. There's no incentive to. If you don't incentivize good things to happen, they're not going to happen. That's the bottom line of that. But yeah, I mean, it's a big grab, but it was a big thing that a lot of young voters were voting on. Oh, they're going to cancel our student loan debt. We're going to have a life, and we're going to own something. I mean, it's nice. I want to own something too. I aspire to. I really think I'm going to, but yeah, I don't think that's the right way to do it.
Right. I mean, like I said before, let's cut the interest rate. Let's strengthen these forgiveness programs that show measured service to your country, or to society, such as teaching profession, like that person that's going to get that history degree. If he or she wants to be a history teacher, hey, 10 years, pay off, make on-time payments. Let's forgive your loans. Technically, that program is out there, but I know a lot of people who have done it, who have even gone on to get doctorate degrees and have made some contributions to society, who have not been approved for these programs. Let's strengthen those programs. I'm all for that, but I'm not for unilaterally doing that, which apparently they say he can do because there's been some laws that's been on the books since the 60s that would quote unquote give him the power to do that. But right now we're in a constitutional crisis with the second impeachment trial. So it's beyond me of how they're going to figure that one out. But yeah, I think we're all in agreement that it shouldn't happen. But I do think there are solutions to try to make it a little bit more manageable every month.
No, yeah, it kind of seems at this point, what can't the president do?
Right.
It's every time that there's something, it's just like, well, the president can technically do this with an executive order. No, that's not how it was designed. The president should not have this much power. The fact that the president can put through 40 executive orders in not even the first month of their presidency is ridiculous, when Biden was calling Trump, Hitler, for executive orders and the powers that he was using. It's ridiculous. I'm just sick of the government. I mean, I'm beating that dead horse every day, saying that the government is just awful. Don't trust these people. They're awful. I don't know. People who want to say that Joe Biden's like a hero, or Joe Biden's amazing, or Joe Biden's going to save us all. No, he's not. He's lining his pockets. He's going to leave the White House either in a casket or in a limo. Either or. He might be in that limo in a casket. You don't know. But they don't care about us. It's very depressing.
Oh man, I mean, there's just
Yeah.
It's just the laws and the rules and everything that they pass don't apply to them. They apply to us. And there's different rules on the playing field for us than there are for them. And it's getting really old. I'm just tired of it. I'm beyond tired of it. Man. So now we got looks like another stimulus bill is heading our way to the House and Senate floor, here in the very, very soon. Omar, what do you have for us here too?
Well, this COVID-19 fast track, and it's a fast track because the Democrats are using a little archaic rule called budget reconciliation. And what that is, and I'm going to try to be brief and explain this really well. What that is, most bills, especially bills that have to deal with money or the budget, has to have 60 votes in the Senate to pass. But you can use this rule called budget reconciliation to get those 60 vote bills to go down to 51 votes. And of course, the Senate is controlled by the Democrats with a 50-50 split, and Kamala Harris, the new vice president, being the tie-breaking vote. So last night, the Democrats did do this, and by a 51-50 vote, they have fast-tracked a resolution in order to bring everything towards the floor. So in 2 weeks, they'll be able to vote on a finalized package. At least I think it's going to happen in 2 weeks, or they have up to 2 weeks to do this. I'm not sure, but in around 2 weeks, something should happen. Now, here's the thing about budget reconciliation. They can't change how much the bill is going to be. It can only go up to 1.9 trillion. So it can't go up to 3 or 4 trillion. No, that figure stays. What gets funded, the rules for funding, the rules for stimulus checks, things like that. There are final amendments that can be moved or whatever. But that's one thing we know. It's not gonna be more than 1.9 trillion because of budget reconciliation. But things can be changed in the law, and we can expect something to happen within 2 weeks. Since most budget bills are supposed to be 60 votes, which would require bipartisan cooperation, what do you guys think about it? Do you think the Democrats are being hypocrites with this whole unity message, but one of the biggest bills of our lifetime is about to be passed through and passed down our throats without us having a real say so?
Unity means shut up and accept it.
Yeah, 100%. It's I'm again, Democrats, hypocrites, politicians, hypocrites. They don't care. They're gonna scream one thing when the other side's in power, that they're abusing their power, they're changing the rules, and then Democrats get into power and they're changing the rules. It seems like Congress and basically the legislative and the executive branches have been playing on like monopoly rules for the last 30 years. They're making up things now. Like it's like playing board games with your cousin. Like they just start making up some stuff and they're trying to cheat. I mean, what happened to there being limits on what they can do? It really seems like the government is limitless at this point. They can do whatever they want. If you asked people 20 years ago, do you think it would be possible for the government to tell people to stay home or to shut down their business or you'd be arrested or fined? Like, no, people would say, no, that's ridiculous. That could not happen. Not in America. We have freedom. Psych, wait till COVID. Somebody, ate a bat, and now we all got to stay home for a year. Half the population is going to be losing their businesses, losing their homes. I mean, it's ridiculous. Why do people not care about this? Like, I'm trying to be like beating this libertarian horse to death. Like, do people not understand that the government does not care for you and they just want to trample all over your rights? And when people are advocating for big government on one side, I don't understand it, because wait till they go to the other side and they're going to take away your rights and you're not going to like it and you're going to complain.
Christian.
$1.9 trillion could be used for a lot of things. They call it COVID. It's a COVID relief, but how much of it's actually relieving COVID? How much money is being sent out to small businesses that were forced to close? Therefore, it's on the hands of the U.S. government. How much money is going into the hands of private citizens that have been directly impacted by being unable to go to work, school, everything else that they normally do in their everyday life? And then how much money are we sending overseas to different countries that we have no hand in, no business in being in, for who knows what reason? We have plenty of issues that we need to solve right here on our soil. It's just my biggest questions that I have in regards to this. I don't think they're working in our best interest here. It's just the same thing as passing a budget that they do at the end of the year every year. They put together 5,000 pages. They submit it 3 hours before it's due. And they say, okay, now you got to pass it. Okay, here it is. Now you got to pass it. You don't get a chance to read it. And it's filled with poison, absolute garbage. How much stuff in that stimulus is going to go towards illegal aliens, to non-citizens? I just want to know. I really do. And I don't know if I'd be able to read. I'm not going to read 5,000 pages of crap to try to find it. It's poison. It's absolute poison. It's disgusting. The American people deserve a lot better.
Yeah, a lot of other things in this bill. Now, apparently, Joe Biden is still trying to get bipartisan support, so he's willing to concede on some things. Like originally, the $1,400 checks are supposed to go to people that are making 75K and under. Now it may be changed to 50K, which is somewhat of a concession by the Democrats, if that even sticks into the final bill, which I don't think it will, knowing this new Democratic Party we're dealing with. Um, Also, the $15 minimum wage might be hiked and put into law through this bill. Which, of course, we're trying to fight because, I mean, it's just going to balloon the deficit, balloon the government. Um, but what do you guys think about that part? The $15 minimum wage hike.
I want to throw up.
Unemployment's going to go through the roof. I mean, it's not going to help by any means. So many people live in a fantasy world thinking that they're going to actually be making $32,000 a year because of $15 an hour minimum wage, when in reality their hours are getting cut or they're getting laid off, and they won't be making near amount of money that they were beforehand. Go ahead.
Like people just think, and I've seen this, on social media. People will post about the minimum wage, and everyone in the comment. I remember seeing this comment. Somebody was like, "Don't open a business if you aren't willing to pay your employees a livable wage." I'm like, okay, well, I guess you'd rather those employees not be able to work at all. Like, I last time I checked, employment is a contract between the employee and the employer, not the employee, the employer, and the government. Like, why does the government again have to be in everything? Every single thing that we do. If I want to work for, let's say, Christian has a mansion, I say, Christian, I'd like to clean your mansion for $10 an hour. Am I not allowed to do that? Do I not have the mental capability to decide what my labor is worth? Apparently, I need the government to do that for me. I need the government to tell me how much my labor is worth. I understand why the minimum wage was implemented. I'm against the minimum wage. I feel like the free market is a better indicator than the government on how much labor is worth. I think I've said this before. I worked in fast food for 4 years. No one in fast food is worth $15 an hour except for maybe the managers, maybe depending on the location and depending on the restaurant. If I was a cook, I know what it's like. That is not a $15 an hour job. You do not deserve that. I'm sorry. You get a different job or sue me. Like I'm sorry. It's not worth it.
Yeah, you're right. And with this 15, right, with this $15 minimum wage, I remember being at SAS, and do y'all remember the people that had the glitter, that company?
Oh yeah.
I was talking with the business owner there, and he said, "Hey, I was about to hire this person. I thought this person would have been a great employee, but they wanted $15 an hour and would not take the job unless they got $15 an hour." And he didn't hire him. And he said, "Do you know I can buy a machine? And that machine can do this job faster than you and probably better than you. And I don't have to give it PTO. I don't have to give it health insurance. I don't have to give it sick days. It will never be late. I can fix it. I can probably take a class on it for $1,500 and fix it for $500 with parts and labor. It'll equal up to $500. You know how much money I would save on getting a machine to do that? If they spike the minimum wage, that's what's going to happen. I mean, it's already happening in McDonald's. Didn't you see there? If you go inside McDonald's, there's little touchscreen order machines that eliminated maybe 4 or 5 jobs per McDonald's. And that's just one instance. It's happening in Walmart's. The scan and goes. Goodbye cashiers. Everything is going to be a scan and go. It's eliminating jobs that people actually need. It's sad to say it, but it's true. Some people actually need that $7.25 an hour job. But I'm just saying, everything is going to be automated because we want to mandate that a business has to pay us more money. instead of letting the market decide how much it's worth and if we have enough capital to give more money to folks, which Walmart can do if it wants to. And Walmart is fine with giving you a pay raise, but mandating a pay raise, I mean, now my rant's over.
So the thing is here, these same people that claim to be so much against the corporations and the top 1% and the millionaires and billionaires understand by pushing for all these things that they're going to kick out every single small business and give everything over to the corporations. Just like we've seen through the COVID lockdowns where the small businesses were closed, but Walmart, Target, Amazon thrived, made more money than we've ever seen before. And what do you think is going to happen when you push $15 minimum wage? These companies aren't going to go. They can afford a $15 minimum wage. They can do whatever it is. They can fire more people and put more automated machines in there. They can be just fine. The same thing is too if they say $15 an hour, and then you have to provide health insurance. You got to mandate health insurance now. These small companies can't afford that. Walmart can. All these other companies can. That's fine. They're going to literally kill the competition. It's going to be a corporate-run crap hole, excuse my language, and that's what you're going to have. That's what you're going to get. You're going to have a lack of choice, lack of options. Everything that you held near and dear to your heart and your community is going to be gone, and it's going to be all corporatized. And it's going to smash everything. It's going to smash the local economy. It's going to be terrible. And people don't think. They don't think ahead. People don't think more than 2 seconds in front of them about what the real ramifications of this are, what this is going to entail, what if this is going to lead to. It's not good. It's not good at all. Florida just voted for this. I don't know how. Florida goes red, and then we vote yes to increase to $15 an hour minimum wage by 2025. I don't know how that happened. I don't know what the deal is, but it's just bad news. It's just bad news all around.
Well, I mean, after Joe Biden and, let's say that we have another after Joe Biden, $15 an hour, that might be like $3 after, his presidency and all what he's going to enact and basically how he's going to destroy our economy. So, 2025, that might not be too terrible. But when they're trying to put it all over the country, basically make it a federal requirement that you must have a $15 an hour minimum wage, the only companies like you said, Christian, that are going to survive are the big ones, but also even small businesses in just wealthier parts of the country will survive. How many businesses in Idaho are going to survive with $15 an hour minimum wage? It's going to be like, I don't have a grocery store anymore because no one can work there because they can't afford to hire anybody, or they're going to instead now my gallon of milk is $15. I have to pay that much so they can afford the employees. We're just seeing basically people look at what's right in front of them and they're like, oh, okay, well, we're gonna have a livable wage, and right behind that it's unemployment, corporate run economy, and then also politicians lining their pockets because the corporates are paying them.
Oh, they're running it. It's a rigged deck. They got all the marbles, and people our age, unfortunately, look at that and say, yes, please take care of me. The government knows. They know what I need. They can take care of all of my problems. And then they get breadcrumbs, and a little bit later, then they get nothing. And then they get upset and wonder, how could this happen?
Yep.
How could this happen? How could this happen? We know exactly how this could happen.
You know what?
All right.
Maybe it should happen. Maybe people will wake up then.
Let's hope. Let's hope.
How far do we have to go? How far do we have to go until people actually realize that these things don't work and these things don't help? We tried in 2018, leading up to that 2018 midterm. We tried leading up to 2018. We told them we couldn't afford Medicare for all. We couldn't afford these things. This is going to cripple the economy. It's not great. They didn't care. We lost the majority in the House in 2018. The people said right away, we don't care. We want it. They want it no matter what. What's going to happen when they get it? Because here's the thing: is once you give that up, you don't get it back. Once we give up our power, we don't get it back. So I'm a little bit wary about compromising. Just saying, yeah, let them have it, and then let them see what they get. Because we know once we give that up, we're not going to have that back. Wise words. Exactly.
It's the sleight of hand of that they've been pulling since the dawn of time. So yeah, 100%. We'll see how people. Hopefully, more people could kind of think of it that way. That I don't know why people think like, oh, the government has my best interests at heart. Like, are you a child? Is Santa Claus still real? It makes no sense.
I got it
Well,
better.
in a lot of ways,
$50 minimum wage.
Chris, in a lot of ways, Santa Claus is still real. Just replace Santa Claus with Uncle Sam or with Bernie Sanders or now Joe Biden and well, Mrs. Claus with Kamala Harris, and they're bringing down a bag of goodies, Medicare for all, and all of this other stuff.
Man, I don't want Kamala Harris to be Santa Claus. You're gonna come down the chimney with some handcuffs.
And then we're all black, so of course the handcuffs are up.
Yeah, she's gonna have a search warrant and come through the chimney.
Yeah, seriously.
Wait, an illegal search warrant. It wasn't signed by a judge.
There you go.
Is John Roberts going to sign off on this? Well, maybe he will, but I know Clarence Thomas wouldn't.
No, he's one of the few justices that I can count on every time to do what's right.
Clarence Thomas, that's right.
Yeah. So next matter of topics here is AOC is capping. For those of you that might not know the term capping, when brought up by Urban Dictionary, capping refers to people that are lying or are deceitful or are putting on a facade with things that aren't necessarily true. So capping means lying in the case here for the Gen Z people that know already. But Chris, what do you got for us here? And I'm ready.
If I have not complained about the government enough in this episode, just buckle up and be ready, because here we go. AOC is definitely capping. She's lying. She is a disgusting human being that has to make every single thing about herself. What happened is during the Capitol riot, obviously you had people on the Capitol grounds, storm the Capitol. 5 people ended up dying that day. Very sad, tragic. But AOC is claiming that she was hiding in her office, that I believe it was her chief of staff. I could be mistaken on the title, but whoever was in the office with her told her to hide in the bathroom because there were those Trump supporting evil Nazis outside of her door, banging on her door, trying to get in to essentially what she's trying to make it sound like, kill her. The only thing, though, is Representative Nancy, I believe it's Mace, yes, from South Carolina, is on the same floor as her in the building that is actually about a 15-minute walk away from the Capitol. So there was no protesters, no rioters, no MAGA people in that hallway that day. No one was trying to break into her office. Representative Nancy Mace said that it was scary. It was a terrible time. They did not enjoy it. They didn't feel safe. But there was nobody banging on her door. There was nobody trying to kill her. And the fact that she's telling the media this and she's exaggerating what happened, it is disgusting. It's immoral. And all it does is further divide our country. And AOC, of course, is going to play the victim on this again. Like we saw this last week when Ted Cruz tried to agree with her with something, and she's saying Ted Cruz wanted her to die. AOC is like the little girl that cried socialism. She's going to continue until I don't know when she's going to stop lying. She's a pathological liar. And everything she says, I wish Dayla was here because she's from New York. I would say who in her district is voting for her. I don't understand. Like this message is for everybody in her district. If you voted for AOC, I apologize if I hurt your feelings, but you're an idiot. And if you vote for her again, you are a bigger idiot than I think that you could actually be. You surprise me with how many brain cells you have. I think it's actually negative at this point. If you vote for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she be capping. I'll pass it to you guys. What do you guys think?
Well, think about it like this. First off, I want to just say it's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez Smollett because Justice Smollett did the same thing. Yeah, yes, they are, Miss Evans. I did read that book, Radicals, by this man, and the tactics they're using, pitiful, but they seem to be working, at least in that district in New York. But what I'll say about AOC, she's a nut job. Uh, and for her to have not been there, but to say Ted Cruz is trying to kill me, and Ted Cruz was actually at the Capitol hiding in a bunker, and she wasn't. You've got to be nuts. You got to be completely off your knockers, off your rock, whatever the term is. You've got to be nuts to even go out there and say that and accuse someone of that. And then you have a lot of people still believing her, believing she's right, going to vote for her in 2022. It goes back to the saying, everybody hates Congress but loves a congressperson. I don't know who loves this woman. The men that are voting for her must be really attracted to this girl and think they have a shot with her, because this is plain crazy. It's Christian, what do you got on?
It's past crazy. It's not just crazy. Like, she's deliberately doing this and knows it's wrong. That's evil. That is evil. That's what it is. There's no other words for it. You deliberately deceive the American people into believing things that aren't true. Then they go and commit acts on behalf of what you said. That's a lie. That's on your hands. And then they go do bad things to people like us that have a different point of view for any sort of reason. And you feel justified. You feel totally fine because you had to make it about yourself, because it had to be about you. Look at me, look at me, look at me. We're talking about taking down Wall Street, how corrupt it is, having a great moment, uniting all Americans for the first time probably since 9/11. And you have to go turn around. Oh, you wanted me dead. You should resign. Oh, gosh. After those right-wing terrorists are trying to kill me. My goodness. We can't have any nice things. This is why we can't have nice things, because of people like that. We can't have anything nice. She ruins everything. Everything she touches turns to garbage. Absolute garbage and trash. She deliberately lies. People in the House empower her. Cori Bush is no better. Ayanna Pressley's no better. Rashida Tlaib crying on the House floor today. My goodness, what a crock. What a sob story of garbage. These people, we're so easily deceived. I hope people aren't buying it. I feel like some people are buying it, and they shouldn't be. But the people that actually believe that those tears are real and that everything they're saying is really true and actually happened didn't pay attention the last 7 months of what happened in America when people actually died on the streets for no good reason at all because of pumped hysteria from the media and from Congress people like them saying to get in the streets and to get loud. Okay. I mean, yeah, it's absolute garbage. It's trash. It's nonsense. She knows deliberately what's going on. She's pushing it. And just like, my aunt over here was saying, they're using Stalin-Linsky tactics. They're playing straight up out the books here. They're playing straight out the book. And the more we don't call them on it, the more they keep doing it. And that's when you get on the phone with your local congressperson and you tell them to go call them on their crap because we've had enough. Because the longer we just sit by, it becomes more accepted and it becomes mainstream. These things can't be mainstream if this country is going to survive. This cannot be mainstream.
Christian, the people that are listening to this and who believe this sob story, remember, they have pink and blue hair. They study gender studies or creative writing or some BS degree, and they complain about their lives and their white privilege, which they live off of, but still complain about, apparently, if white privilege really truly exists. They live off of it, but they complain about it. Those are the type of people that are going in those voting booths and pulling the trigger for these folks. Same with the black folks too that do this. They're all pulling those triggers.
Yeah, it's what's up, Ryan? So honestly though, like these politicians though, it makes it makes no sense because it's like it kind of seems like, at least for liberals and Democrats right now, they have their blinders on. They had their eyes wide open, glued to CNN for 4 years straight. They didn't blink. But now in a week, their side of the aisle will not stop doing stupid stuff. Like, how many times, like Joe Biden, 40 executive orders, but they were against how many Trump passed, which I believe he passed 9 in this first week. I believe that was his number. So 4 times the amount that Trump did, Joe Biden does. No one says anything. They had a problem with Sarah Huckabee Sanders, a problem with Kayla. I always can't get her last name right. If somebody wants to fill in, I always say macadamia nut, but McEnany or whatever. I don't know how to pronounce it.
McKinney. I think it's just McKinney, honestly. I think it's just McKinney.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. McKinney, there you go. And they had a problem with her. But now the redhead we got in now, I'm going to circle back to that. I'm going to get back to you on that. Oh, conservative Twitter, you're going to be mad. But I'm going to continue to circle back. Okay, so you just prove us right. You just don't have answers. You got to flip through that big old notebook that somebody's writing for you, but you get paid $189,000 a year to say, I'm going to circle back. Maybe I should be a Democrat. It seems like there's some money in that business. Maybe I could say I'm gonna circle back. I'll let the press ask me as many questions as they can. I'm gonna circle back to that one in about 4 years, or when Joe Biden dies. So we'll see. Politicians suck. Don't trust them.
Chris, did you see my Facebook post I made with Jim Psaki singing "Callback Girl"? No, "Callback Girl." I'm sorry. It's called "Circle Back Girl" now. She's a circle back girl. I really believe there were more people who were better qualified in communications to become the press secretary of the White House than Jim Psaki. She is an idiot. I'd rather Simone Sanders, and I don't like Simone Sanders, but I'd rather Simone Sanders because she spoke eloquently and she spoke clearly. You understood her, and she always had an answer for everything.
You can actually handle herself. It's not even just about being like qualified, this, that, not qualification. Your qualifications on how you do at the job. That's how you're going to base your qualifications.
Thank you.
And Jen Psaki is absolutely failing right now. She is absolutely a dumpster fire. It is trash. Simone Sanders, I cannot stand her for her life of her, but she can actually hold her own when it comes to talking to people in the crowds. She can actually do it. She can actually do it. You're probably going to spew absolute garbage and crap every time she talks, but she can actually handle answering questions
she
from
can hold her own
without saying, I'm going to go back and actually having an answer. Whether it's probably a lie, whatever she's going to say, but she's still going to have an answer at least. You're going to have an answer for somebody on something. Yeah, just not giving an answer is just, it looks tacky. It looks awful. It looks totally unprepared and unprofessional. You got to have something.
Exactly. Anybody would have been a better choice. I think Joe Biden's dog that broke his foot would have been a better choice as press secretary. That she just, it really is tacky. I feel like she's just doing it out of spite for conservatives. So now, especially when she called out conservative Twitter, oh, I'm going to continue to circle back. Yes. So you're proving our point. You just don't have answers. Like I feel like at least like Sarah Huckabee Sanders or Kayla McKinney, there you go. I feel like they would have had a better response to that. At least it probably would have been funny. I mean, CNN would have hated on it for 7 weeks straight, but at least it probably would have been funny. Where this woman was just awful, just awful. She's gonna continue to be a dumpster fire though. So
no, I mean, I don't know how much longer she's gonna last. I mean, is she past 2 weeks? She past 2 weeks now.
Yes.
Okay, well, she lasted longer than Anthony Scaramucci. And that guy is a shell of a man and very bitter. Very tiny already, but very bitter. He's already short and small, and like he's just very, very bitter. Just shrinks like gradually as the day goes by. I really feel bad for that guy. I gotta feel bad for the mooch. He totally got the Trump derangement syndrome beyond belief that you would ever see. Boom. Segueing into this big topic here, Time Magazine released an article. Was it today or yesterday? I believe it was today. Was it yesterday? Was it today? Today.
It was fairly recent.
Yeah, and the title of it was "The Secret History of the Shadow Campaign That Saved the 2020 Election." In this article, they go on to elaborate on how this election was won, or in their words, I want to say what exactly was the word that they used. It's just absolutely crazy. And they literally said in this article, they say, even though it sounded like a paranoid fever dream, a well-funded cabal of powerful people ranging across industries and ideologies, working together behind the scenes to influence perceptions, change rules and laws, steer media coverage, and control the flow of information. Admitting to it in the article, like it's totally normal, like it's totally fine, okay? They go on to say, after Election Day, they monitored every pressure point to ensure that Trump could not overturn the result. Their work touched every aspect of the election. They got states to change voting systems and laws and helped secure hundreds of millions in public and private funding. They fended off voter suppression lawsuits, recruited armies of poll workers, and got millions of people to vote by mail for the first time. And then they say, in a way, Trump was right. There was a conspiracy unfolding behind the scenes, one that both curtailed the protests and coordinated the resistance from CEOs. Both surprises were the result of an informal alliance between left-wing activists and business titans. Oh, you mean the left-wing media and the corporations, like we've been saying since day one, that have been colluding and cooperating since day one? Oh, we didn't see this coming. How did you not? And this whole article, it unfolds literally how they got this election. Literally how they took everything here. But we're just a bunch of conspiracy theorists here. Based on nothing. It was all a lie. It was totally not based on fact. When in this here, and obviously how people could feel even more outraged now than ever before and feel their anger justified and validated for the way that they feel about this. When people want unity, when they're legit laughing in your face and acknowledging and telling you exactly how they took this election from you. A coordinated effort across all fronts. What do you guys got for that? They said the election, it was fortified. It wasn't stolen. It was fortified. Fortified.
Yeah, imagine if it was flipped. If Republicans were calling for massive voting by mail, if Republicans were calling for states to change the rules for voting, having massive corporations and media to support them, you would have people on the left screaming it would be like the lady in the green at Trump's inauguration, dropping to her knees and screaming. They'd be doing that for the next 4 years that Trump stole the election. And they did it for 4 years when he won legitimately. So, I mean, like, it really is just hypocrisy. The left will continue to just say one thing and do exactly what they're condemning. I don't understand it. It really seems like they have just like short-term memory loss, and just like that, they forgot what they said because they're doing it right when they're in power. They don't care what you think of them because they are going to win any means necessary. That's why Democrats are doing so well. They're going to continue to do so well because they are ruthless. They are cutthroat. They lie. They cheat. They steal. And the Republicans continue to play by the rules. So.
I mean, think about it. All we hear from the Democrats is voter suppression. Now this is well, I can't say it's voter suppression, but it's cheating. It's basically cheating. It's breaking the law, changing laws. Like in Pennsylvania, that law wasn't supposed to be changed, and judges said it. You're doing something that's against your own constitution, and you're changing them within like 1 day to try to accommodate something that now it's partially a hoax, and now we can reopen. But you use that as the basis for this mail-in voting, which of course I knew was rigged because the union of the post of USPS endorsed Joe Biden. If I was Donald Trump, I would have immediately said, okay, we're using UPS or FedEx or something else if we're going to have to do this mail-in voting thing, because you just said, okay, we're endorsing Joe Biden, which means most of our folks like Joe Biden, which means we don't like you, Mr. Trump. Well, so Trump should have questioned everything.
Yeah. The problem with the USPS, like you were saying, people might not know, USPS has a total monopoly on parcel mail.
Yes.
By the U.S. government. The United States Postal Service is the only licensed way to send out parcel mail to households and to businesses. Okay. They're the only people that can do so. And they're sponsoring and endorsing a political candidate that's relying on their method of delivery for this election that's going to have a big factor this election. Nobody bats an eye. Go ahead, Omar. I'm just saying.
No, you're totally right there, Christian. And not to dismay USPS workers. My uncle was one, and he's been one for what, 15 or 20 years. They are good people there, but at the same time, I would not trust this a service. If you're outwardly telling me who you're voting for, or who most of your people are probably going to vote for, and we have to have integrity that these folks are going to make sure my ballot is going to be counted. It will go to the voting precinct on time, and be counted by the voting precinct. I don't trust it. And this magazine article really should be opening up people's eyes, especially the folks on the left who really think we should be reprogrammed. There are people in Congress calling for all of us that voted for Trump, to go to camps and be reprogrammed. You know what?
Try to take me to a camp.
Germany. And Germany killed those folks. Concentration camps. They killed those folks. They're killing folks in China right now, and in concentration camps. North Korea. They're all doing that. And now that's acceptable in America, at least to some Congress people. That's scary. We need to wake up. That is literally scary, folks. You know what? I should tweet out something to AOC saying, you literally want to throw me in a camp. You're no worse than the people who in the Holocaust who were killing Jews. You're no worse. I think you're going to kill me. Matter of fact, I should throw out a restraining order against her right now. And you know what? I'm crazy enough to do it.
Can I file a restraining order for every government employee in the United States, because I don't want them near me. So if they can't come near me, then they can't take me to a camp. Big brain time, guys. We all got to fill out these.
Only essential staff. Only essential staff can be around me. like the actual secretary.
Yeah. I'm gonna file my restraining order against the IRS and my bank account. They're not allowed 500 miles with my bank account. You
stay away from my check.
It is tax season, everybody. It is tax season. Do I recommend that you pay your taxes? I say, at your own risk.
I'm gonna say, now that the IRS is going to need a lot more money because the government, is going to need a lot more money because they're dishing out money all the time. Now with, we talk about this bill. Thank you, Ryan. We're talking about this bill, $1.9 trillion. Like, Jesus Christ. I'm having a conversation earlier today with somebody and they're like, well, the government can't have that much money. I'm like, no, they do. That's what's funny. We live in a deficit. They have unlimited money because you don't have a limit. If you can just spend and continue to borrow and borrow and borrow, there is essentially unlimited money. And that should scare every single person that is younger than Joe Biden. We're going to have to pay that back. Joe Biden is going to be in a hole 6 feet under. Honestly, it could be any time now. But for us, we got some good lives ahead of us. Good subjective, but we got long lives ahead of us. We're going to see what happens, and we're going to have to pay this back. We're going to have to work on this. This is going to be our country. It is our country now, but we're going to be the leaders of this country in the next, 10, 15 years. We're going to be the generation that has to pay this back. How are we going to do that when they continue to spend and spend and spend and borrow and spend up until what's the limit? How many trillions of dollars can we really owe?
Hey, Chris, I got a job for you in my administration.
I'll take it.
Office of Management and Budget. You get to run that office. That's one of the most powerful cabinet positions out there. You get to set the budget and send it to Congress. Cut everything.
I'm going to make Trump look like a cream puff. I'm going to go up to everybody. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. Everyone's fired. Get out. Go home. All of this government bloated, something nice stuff, get rid of all of it because we don't need it. We don't need it. Let your state handle that. The federal government, you know what they want to do? They just want to take more of your money. And that's all they need is more of your money. Uncle Sam is starving without our dollars, and he just wants more of our money. It's
was that your final thoughts, Chris?
I mean, honestly, yeah. I'll give one more sentence. Honestly, like, this is my time to tell everybody watching: run for office. Like, run for office, please. Don't let these old, disgusting, slimy politicians continue to control our lives. Stick it to them. Like, Madison Cawthorn is really an inspiration. I don't agree with him on every single thing that he believes. I don't agree with anybody on everything, but he is a young, energetic, passionate person that ran, and he achieved what a lot of people did not see as possible. Being 25 in Congress, are you kidding me? I mean, he's 4 years older than me. I mean, that's insane. For if I thought to myself 4 years from now I could be in Congress, that's insane. I couldn't imagine it. I feel like that's just a whole lifetime away. It's run for office. It doesn't have to be Congress. It doesn't have to be the Senate. You don't have to run for president. Run for school board. Run for mayor. Run for city council. Run for a city manager. Those things matter. They really do matter. They impact you more than you might know. Just because CNN's not writing an article about where they're spending your tax dollars in your city or your county or your state, but they will write it about the federal government, doesn't mean it doesn't matter. You just need to start with these stepping stones. If you want to get into politics, start now. Get a couple friends, throw $200, make some signs, and run. I am urging every single person. I want 2022 to be the year of the young people running for office. That's what I want to see. And those are my final thoughts.
That was more than one sentence.
It was a run-on sentence.
It's a long run-on sentence. I'd get an F in a grad school paper for that one. Anyway. My final thoughts. Hey, like Christian keeps on saying a lot, question everything. You've got to. You can't just take everything face value. Do your own investigations. That's how I became a conservative. I used to be a flaming liberal. I used to be for abortion and for all of this other crazy things. I used to want illegal immigrants to be full-on citizens with the snap of a finger and not doing it the right way. But I did my research, and I came to my own conclusions. Hey, this mess is not right. Also, I would like to say, go Chiefs. My high school classmate that I actually took. I went to a small high school.
Hold on. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that in a second. So we're gonna get into that in one more second after this. That's why we're gonna get to that. I'm gonna let you go into that. But give your final thought. Then we're gonna go into the Super Bowl. We'll let you talk Super Bowl and what it means.
Why didn't we do Super Bowl before final thoughts, man?
We're gonna do the Super Bowl afterwards. Super Bowl's important. All right.
Okay. Since I have to backtrack, sorry for the retraction, folks. Since I have to backtrack, like Chris said, run for office. Go to your meetings, know who these folks are, write them emails, because I promise you, somebody's going to read that email and they're going to get tired of it and either do something or they're going to call you in. And then you have these folks work for you. I don't care if even if you're 10 years old watching this, these folks still work for you, because one day you're going to have to vote them in or vote them out. And, they work for you. They have to make decisions on your behalf. That's how our government was created, to make decisions on our behalf. But we send them there with an agenda of what we want them to do. Then, folks, these people in Congress are not working for us. They're not working for our betterment. They're not working to do what we want, what we sent them there to do. They're collecting a paycheck. And we can't have that anymore. We can't have career politicians collecting a darn paycheck. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. You should be too. That Time magazine article should be opening up some people's eyes. And if not, I don't know what else to say. Maybe we need to start a new country.
Someone once told me that politics was, supposed to be like a temporary job, not a whole bleeping career. But but
well, you know what? You know what? Keep biting. Keep biting.
That beep was there to be announced. It's coming.
It was definitely there. Oh, it was there. But oh man, if you're not seeing what's going on and the strings that are being pulled and how everybody's opening up now after a new administration came into power to make it look good, I don't know what to tell you. It's a politicized move. It's okay if you were taken for granted, taken advantage of, and played as a pawn in this election. We told you were. You didn't believe us, then you were. Okay, take your L. Take your L. Move on. But at least now, I hope you don't do it again. And if you do, that's what you get. The state of California, we were locked down once. Then they locked you down again before Christmas. After the first time, you should have known better. Now they're letting you open up again. You should know better now. Don't let it happen again. You shouldn't. And if you do, it's on y'all again. That's it. Just live your life, go to church, have families, make babies, be free. That's my final thoughts for the night. Super Bowl predictions. What do we got here for Super Bowl? We got Tampa Bay Buccaneers, got the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to play in Tampa, Florida, just up the road from me.
Number one, screw Tom Brady. Screw the Bucks. Darn it, it should have been my Saints. Yes, I like to talk about the Saints. They are my team. It's like you're an Eagles fan. I'm a Saints fan.
Yeah, but we know how to win. We won the last time throughout January. Then we won a Super Bowl the last time.
When was the last time you've been to the playoffs? I just want to know that.
Last season.
You were not there last year.
Yes, we were.
You were not there last year.
Yes, we were. We lost
last year.
Wild card round.
Huh?
We lost to the Seahawks in the wild card round of the 2019-2020 season playoffs. Oh my goodness. Okay, while he's looking that up, Chris, what you got, man?
Honestly, I like to.
Yeah, I wasn't finished.
We were waiting all day for this. I know I'm right, so that's fine.
I'll be quick on this because I'm not a huge sports guy. I literally watch the Super Bowl. That's the only football game I watch. But I'm rooting for. I'm going to say the Buccaneers because I like the underdogs, and technically I would say that they're kind of the underdogs, and also see Brady get that other ring. That's pretty goated. I want to see that happen. So his kid can run on the field and he can kiss him on the mouth or something. Whatever Tom Brady does. So I'm looking forward to the Super Bowl. I'm looking forward to the wings and the pizza because I'm pigging out on that day. So I'm excited.
There you go. But anyway. I just want to say my high school classmate, Travaris Ward, is a starter for the Kansas City Chiefs. He won last year. A couple of years ago, he picked off Tom Brady, and I still think it's amazing that, okay, we used to sit at the lunch table and talk about this guy, and he's picking them off in AFC championships. That's mind-blowing to me. So I hope he gets an interception. I hope it's the winning interception. Go Chiefs. That's it.
I think it's going to be a good game. I don't know about scoring wise. It could be, depends on if it's raining hard and if it's not. It's still going to be in Tampa, so Florida, great weather. But I think the underdog here. I think Tom Brady comes through. I think the final score would be something like 34-31. I think the score is going to be 34-31. I think it's going to be kind of a shootout. I think the Bucs come out on top. I think the Bucs defense is better suited than the Chiefs defense. I think they're going to go ahead and pull it off. The Philadelphia Eagles did go to the playoffs the last 3 seasons besides this one, Omar. So you're very welcome for that. So just to answer your question.
I remember one of those times I beat you in that playoffs, didn't I?
When's the last right?
You remember that?
Yeah,
Nick Foles, who won you a Super Bowl.
Won a Super Bowl, man. We won a Super Bowl.
When is the last time the Lions went to the playoffs? That's the real question, guys.
It was against us. I think it was against the Saints.
They had a really good year. It was like
I think it's
Jim Schwartz was the head coach. Jim Harbaugh was still the coach of the Niners. They had a really good year that year. I'm pretty sure they went that year.
I think 2012.
Yep.
I think that was 2012.
Yeah.
So 2011 season, you came out to the dome and got that butt whooped.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
This is why nobody likes Saints fans. This is why nobody likes Saints fans. This is literally why nobody likes Saints fans.
No, I'm just saying. Hey, go hard or go home. Go hard or go home.
Man.
What was that?
I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a solid thing to be a fun time. I'd stay away from sports. It's unpredictable how this is going to go. I don't think there's any way to predict this. I don't think there's any way to predict this. I think it's going to be a good one.
It's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. No, I hope you all enjoyed tonight. Keep tuning in. Thank you again. Please like, share, subscribe. Send it to your friends. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. It's all at Black Friday NFS. If you want to donate, if you're interested in donating, possibly donation and everything like that, making that happen. We can make that happen. We appreciate it. Send either of us a message. Send Black Friday. We can send our page a message anywhere. We'd be happy to have you. And you guys have a great rest of your evening. Have a great weekend. See you next Friday.